Well, hey there, Jason.
Hey,
It's
Kathy, how are you doing?
transportation talk time. How's it going over there?
It is transportation talk time. I'm obviously over the moon excited about this time of the week. We get a chance to talk about transportation and really how we can better the transportation lives of the people of our local community. And that's what we get to do. And we get to do that every week. And it is a blast to do it with you. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. And I know we've both been thinking a lot about different things. And one of the things that has been a topic of our own conversations, because of our intense
Oh
weather
man.
and things that have
Yeah.
come up, is emergency preparedness. And
Yes.
so we want to share some of our insights with our transportation talk people.
Yeah, sometimes when the power does go down in our local area, and does go down often, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are in a particular type of service where people need to get a hold of us. They're
Mm-hmm.
whether or not they're in an emergency, situation, or they're just simply worried whether or not they're going to be able to get to work, even in inclement weather. And there are
Right.
people who have to use the bus, who choose to use the bus, and
Well, I would say that, public transportation is part of the emergency
yeah,
management infrastructure.
absolutely. Yes. And so we over here, we have something called a backup generator. And there
Mm-hmm.
are I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who understand what backup generators are, but just in case not, it's just simply it's a device that runs off of various types of fuel, whether it be gas, natural gas, or what have you, that will power a particular building, maybe just one office, depending on the size of it. We had a medical transportation brokerage here many years ago, and we serviced Clatsop, Columbia, and Tillamook counties, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we would go down over here where we are located, well, other counties would suffer because we were not available to schedule rides, to check on medical appointments and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So really people suffered out there because when once they can't get a hold of the people who are in charge of their transportation and other services, well, there's a stress that gets induced, right? There's
Right.
a lot of they just get worked up over it, and so we couldn't keep that going, so we purchased a backup generator. And I think you remember when we got that, you were happy about that, weren't you?
I certainly was. I think that that was a really big step in being there for those that need us most for Sunset Empire so many years ago. And so
Yeah.
it was a moment to really celebrate. And I was
Yeah.
really glad, as I was a member of the board at that time,
Yeah.
to get us into that spot and into that
Yep.
position. And that generator is still in existence. Right,
Yep.
Jason?
And it's still doing a lot of things. We just lost power.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, was it a couple 3 days ago last week? And it comes right on, and the lights
Mm-hmm.
just flicker a little, and you still have all of the services that you use, like our network. So our
Mm-hmm.
network is still up, our internet is still
Mm-hmm.
coming through to us, our computers are still up. Everything that we use to service the community, that isn't necessarily on the bus, we're ready to go. Our radios are still up and going,
Mm-hmm.
so our bus drivers can still communicate with us that way. Those are things that backup systems help you do. And ultimately, in the end, it just helps us stay connected to the people out there utilizing our services. And I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to a day at some point in time, as a project that I am working on, to try to get us over in the Astoria Transit Center to have maybe a better backup solution over there. But we'll do it instead of a big noisy gas generator. We're thinking about using batteries. What do you
Hey,
think about that?
technology. I think that that's
Technology.
fantastic
Yeah.
because, in order to stay a vital part of the emergency preparedness
Hmm.
infrastructure, all of our pieces and parts need to be able to stay connected. And
Yeah.
some people may not think of, or why is transportation part of the emergency preparedness
Right.
infrastructure? Well, not everybody has a car, and sometimes
Yep.
you have a medical appointment that you can't change just because the power went out where you are or wherever the service is being dispatched out of.
Yep.
So you rely on those services. And for some people, it's because they don't have heat or electricity in their home.
Yep.
Then a bus becomes that safe shelter for them to stay warm and dry or get to some place that is a longer term warm and dry location.
That's a really good point, Kathy. It's not just to keep us up and communicating amongst our offices. By having and keeping the service running, yeah, we could potentially help that family, maybe that individual that's out there who has, to get on the bus for a variety of reasons. And like you say, it can be heated there. Maybe they could find their way. I mean, even something as simple as just charging a cell phone could be life
Mm-hmm.
changing for some people, could be a very important part of
Mm-hmm.
survival. And so being able to hop on the bus and maybe go to the transit center that's powered by these generators, would be able to walk right on in and maybe charge their phone up so
Right.
they're ready to go. um
Well,
so
in one of these days,
yeah,
some of our buses are gonna have phone chargers and ways to
absolutely.
stay connected and charge your batteries up while you're on the bus.
Yeah, and Kathy, specifically now speaking about the type of option that I'm looking at, regarding the battery backup, they're modular. And the neat thing about that, see, like with this big generator that we have out here, which is a wonderful generator, we love it. It's saved our bacon quite a few times. I'm not hopping on. I'm not bringing a little hand truck out to that thing and carrying that thing around to where we need it, right?
Let's
um,
hope not.
yeah, let's hope not. But at least with these battery backups, they're modular, they're lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
We can take it. They work inside. That's another benefit as well too.
Mm-hmm. And
And they're
how long do
quiet.
they last?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to power, but for like a particular, just an office station, computer, phones, printers, web cameras, hey, we could still do our show. We could power that
That's good
station.
to know.
Yeah. What I want to try to do is I want to try to power 3 stations for 3 days. And wherever
Mm-hmm.
those stations are at between our 2 locations, um, who knows? But the nice
Right.
thing is if somebody needs more support over in our Astoria location, well, then we can take them over there and
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. But and again, it's just the cool thing is 3 stations for 3 days, or one station for up to 9 days, perhaps, which,
Mm-hmm.
if we're in that kind of situation, like for those of you that might remember the '07 wind storm that we had,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we were down for quite some time, but these would have been beneficial,
Mm-hmm.
to be there. So we look forward to that modularity, to be able to carry them around to where they need to go. And so we can keep those stations running that provide the call taking services, the scheduling services, all those things that people rely on now. Well, they still have connection to that, and that's what we want to see.
Right. And really, there's no knowing when we are going to be in a situation where we're going
Right.
to need that because
Yep.
literally a couple weeks ago it could have gone that way. And
Yeah.
for us to have that sort of continuity would be amazing and really is
Yeah.
a public service and is part of, like I said, the emergency preparedness
Yep.
infrastructure for our whole region, not just
Yep.
for Astoria or Warrenton or Clatsop County. I mean, it's really, it goes beyond that.
Yeah, I like to say that one of the chief tenets to my job is to make SETD as accessible to everyone as possible. And this just helps us enhance that movement, that promise to ensure that we're doing everything that we truly can,
Mm-hmm.
to ensure that everything is accessible. If you could use the bus on a bright sunny day, I was kind of hoping that you'd be able to utilize the same service in the same way, during a power outage, during an emergency situation. We'd be there for you. And the only way to really do that is to ensure that our systems are up and running. And I'm excited to see that first station going. I think we'll have to do a show on site, Kathy. Maybe I can actually flip the switch and say, we're powered. That'd be kind of neat. That'd be a nice
Sounds
little
awesome.
demo.
I think that that's
Yeah.
great. And to me, I think that that is such an important layer of confidence and continuity
Hmm.
for especially those out there that rely on public transportation to get
Yeah.
around. And when the power's out and they don't know if somebody's going to be at the other end of that phone,
Yeah.
what an amazing blessing it'll be that we can say to people, if the power's out, it doesn't matter. We've
Yep.
got you. We will still be there. The phones will still be answered.
Yeah. There are so many vital needs that are out there that people use our service for. We don't see it even, Kathy. We just know some of the numbers that show that,
Hmm.
there are plenty of people out there who use our services, who have chosen to use our services as their primary form of transportation. And yeah, it'd be really bad if that just was not available for them, when we could have been, if we would have had the proper solutions in place, at that time. So
So, Jason, I think now's a good time to bring up that, these discussions are happening not while we have a disaster impending,
that's a good point. Yeah.
but
Hmm.
because we want to be prepared for anything that might be down the road.
Yes.
So, on that note, now's a good time for you to figure out where are your resources? Who do you call? How do you
Right.
get the information? And what do you need to do to be prepared? And so,
Yep.
depending upon where you live, it may be that the city that you live in is the best source for information or preparedness lists, or to become part of a CERT team,
Yeah.
or maybe it's your county, maybe it's a regional thing, but do it before the disaster and the emergency happens. It's
Yeah.
Friday. Take 10 minutes to look up where your closest emergency shelter would be if something
Right.
happened and you needed to evacuate your house. Take 5 minutes to look up your county's resources or your city's resources and find out what they've got available.
Right.
Maybe it's a CERT training that's coming up and you want to sign up because you want to be part of the resources and the solutions.
Yeah. And hey, maybe instead of watching and binge watching your favorite episode of whatever tonight, why don't you take a little bit of time and maybe figure out what you would need to put in a go bag?
Mm-hmm.
A bag that you have prepared with various items that you absolutely need, that you could just grab off a hook in your house somewhere and just go, hence go
Mm-hmm.
bag. Figure
Mm-hmm.
that out. That's a really, actually, that's kind of fun. My family and I, we like to do that for fun. We like to go
Mm-hmm.
through and maintain our bags, and it's a lot of fun to just kind of spread everything out and see what we have. So
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and on that note, it's interesting because what I'm actually watching on TV right now, Call the Midwife,
oh,
um,
okay.
teaches you a little bit about being prepared, because boy do they have to be prepared
No
for
doubt.
all the different situations. And really a lot of their what they do is visiting before actually the due date and the due time, and their trips and their talks and what they
Sure.
do, as far as preparing the mothers to be, is all part of emergency planning, because when
That's
it
right.
actually happens, there's no predicting exactly when that's going to happen.
That's a
There's
good
an
point.
about thing, but there's all kinds of situations that arise, and it's fascinating to watch how they're like, okay, well, this is what we've got done already, so we're just going to go with this because
Yeah.
that's what we've got. But they all have some level of being prepared for those kinds of things. And a lot of it is the mental, state of mind. So,
So I think, Kathy, that's a great way to sign off, as we're still in the time frame where winter storms are still prevalent and could
mm-hmm,
potentially hit us tomorrow.
mm-hmm,
Be prepared. Do whatever
mm-hmm,
you got to do to be prepared. And like Kathy was mentioning earlier, all the things that are important to you that you need to get out there and to survive and to move forward even during the worst of times around here. Do that
mm-hmm.
now. Don't wait till the very last second to do it.
Yep. And, if you were a scout way back when, earn
Yes.
yourself that preparedness badge. Give yourself that award for taking those steps, and make those phone calls. Look, Google is your
Yep.
friend.
Google
Look
is your
some of
friend.
these things up, and, if you want to know about public transportation and what we do or how we can be part of your
Yep.
plan, you know what to do.
Just
Drop
give
your
us a call.
questions in those comments. Give
Yep,
us a
you can do that.
call. WhatsApp. We're here.
We
All the
are here
different
for you.
ways. So,
Yep. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for another wonderful time of talking about transit here on this show. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Be prepared out there, please. Okay. Enjoy your time, enjoy your weekend, but be safe, be seen.
all those things. And if you need help, if you don't have lights, good ending note there, Jason. If you need lights or reflective gear, drop a note in the comments. We're there for
Yes.
you. Everybody have a
Absolutely.
great weekend.
See ya.